Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to the 10-Minute Planner, where we talk about events all the time. Hey, Janiece, thank you so much for joining us today. So before we get started into our conversations and everything, tell us who you are, what you do, what's GG Events in New York City, and give us all the details that we should know.
Yeah, so thank you for having me. First off, you already said my name, but I'm Janiece. I'm the founder of GG Events NYC. We're a full service event design based company based in New Jersey now. We started in New York, but we've been in Jersey for the last year and a half. And pretty much, like I said, we're a full decor based company. We provide everything that you need for your event, except for treats, but we can definitely provide, like the setup for those things too. So pretty much like our goal is just to make sure like when the client and guests walk into the room that they actually feel something. So we believe that every design
Yeah.
tells a story, whether it's a personal celebration or a branding event. But pretty much the goal at the end of the day is just to, well, at the end of the event is to make sure that what was once an idea was actually translated and executed properly.
Right. Okay. So you started what year did you start? In 2019,
2019.
right?
2019.
Girl, hit it right before COVID.
Right,
Right before COVID.
right, right.
Like,
So I come sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so
I said, what made you take the leap?
I come from a retail background, and unfortunately, the company that I was working for, they were closing my location. And so I thought that I was going to end up staying in retail, but it didn't work out that way. And an opportunity came across for me to be able to decorate for my family reunion the coming summer. And so I took it. And then pretty much when I got back home, the power of social media, after posting people started to reach out to me and ask me, like do balloon setups. And I'm like, wait, this is not just like something that I like to do. Like I could actually probably make some money doing this. So that's when I decided, like, GG events, became and and then COVID hit. And that was another part of the journey, but it's all been a blessing thus far.
Okay. Um, so let's talk about your design philosophy. So, uh, for example, in your bio that I got from your website and just knowing you, you talk about clarity, creativity, and just overall care of the design and of the event itself.
Mhm.
Hold on a second. These kids, I tell
Well,
you,
that's one of the kids.
he come in
I love
and
it.
I'm like, I told you, leave me alone for an hour. You
You
know? Anyway,
you probably heard Ramses yelling at
um,
the background.
it don't make no sense. All right. So yes, so going back, let's talk about your design philosophy. So you mentioned like clarity, creativity, and care is what usually you put into practice when you get your clients and they book with you. So what
Yes.
does that actually look like to be in practice with that in mind? What does the process look like for you?
So for me, clarity definitely means that the client always knows what to expect. We don't want any surprises, especially not the day of, like setup, but the client always knows to expect as far as timelines, as far as budgets, and what can realistically be provided. So creativity for me is when I
Right.
translate their idea into something of obviously elevated, but something cohesive. And then, the care part is it's not the part that people always see, but we're anticipating the stress points and making sure that the client feels like they're supported throughout this process and that we're listening to them and we're not just giving them something based off of their budget, but, you know, we also care about what the end result looks like in the beginning, and in the end, and then, you know, just making sure that they don't ever feel overwhelmed, like, for me, I want my client to be able to walk into their event and enjoy their event just as their guests are. And I know most people go to their parties and they can't even eat the food, you know? So we definitely want to make sure
Mhm.
that, you know, those things are like at the forefront for us, and we want to be able to be remembered in that way so we can definitely be invited back.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Um, so you offer multiple levels of service in terms of like
Mhm,
designing, right? So from event styling all the way to full custom and full design,
mhm.
right? How do clients usually find out, oh, this service works better for me, or I need like a full custom redo? And do you help them get to that decision?
Well, in the beginning, most clients don't usually know which level they need, and that's totally fine. So, you know, that's why consultations are always really important. And it gives both of us a chance to, you know, get a feel for one another to make sure that we're a great fit to work with each other. But pretty much, I help them understand what they need, basically by basing that off of what it is that they want to walk in and see. What is it that they want their guests to feel? And then, of course, like if there's a theme or color preference, and most importantly, budget, because that sometimes that can be a very daunting part of the planning process, and we
Mhm.
never want it to feel like that. So it should never be like, oh, you know, you can't do this because you only have such and such and such. It's always about exploring the options and making sure that what we're doing, like I said, is not only cohesive, but you know, it feels good, it looks good. So um we pretty much have like a tier that starts at like, you know, styling, and then maybe that will go into styling and rentals. And then if it's like styling, rentals, and all that, then it turns into like a full on design services that you need.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much do like
Right.
consultation and
So
figuring out what the client needs helps me to help them figure out exactly what levels.
right. Right. Okay, so then what about for speaking of the budget, right? Because I think that's one of the my heartburns, I feel like, intern with certain clients because these budgets and the vision board don't really be clicking. They don't know each other. They don't know they're strangers in the streets, the budgets and the mood board. And how do you like talk to your clients in terms of like, all right, this is what your budget, but it doesn't mean we can't do it. It's just how we're gonna
Mhm,
go about doing it. How do you
exactly.
like talk off the ledge and getting them close to what they're looking for, still enact the mood or the vision that they're looking for, but is talking them off the ledge in terms of that budget to get them to be an actual client with you?
Girl, I've been doing this for a long time. And I really feel like that's gonna be like an evolving thing. But for me at this stage,
Mhm.
I feel like you as the designer need to find your comfort space in that area, and then you'll be able to talk about that confidently. You'll be able to sell it confidently. So I figured out for me, you know, like what is just event styling, or, you know, and if it is just event styling, is it for an intimate event or is it for a larger scale event? So pretty much what I've done is I've pretty much made like a tiered pricing system, if you will. And there's certain,
Mhm.
you know, there's certain criteria where, you know, an event will meet that, and then it'll fall within that price point. So that's, you know, evident on my website. It's also evident on my social
Right.
media pages. So you have an idea pretty much of what it's going to cost, you know, to work with us. But then, of course, there are people who reach out and, you know, they see that number and that might not be what it is that they're working with. And
Mhm.
you know, this is creativity is so much more personal, you know, than I feel like it is like a line item, if you will. So,
Yeah.
there are
Yeah.
going to be some times where you're like, I am willing to invest, this into making sure that this looks right. But we also don't want to sell ourselves or our skill short at all. So sometimes you might have to, sometimes you might have to refer that client to someone else. You might have to say no. But you have to start with, for me, it's important. You got to start. There has to be a starting point with that. So I always ask clients in the consultation, what is your budget? But sometimes budget can be a scary word. So it's like, what's the max that you want to spend? Or what do you see yourself
Yeah.
not spending for this part? So just trying to like meet them where they are with that. And then if it is a number that may fall below our, minimum, I would definitely let them know that upfront because like we said, clarity is very important. And, we go from there. If
Mhm.
willing to be more flexible and make the investment into the results that they are looking to see, then, for the most part, they'll go ahead. Some people will give you I'll call you back, and you know that they're out searching for the person who's gonna do it for $50. And they might not find it, and they might not, and they may come back to us. But if they don't, they don't. And you know what? That's totally fine. That just wasn't the right project for either one of us, the client or, you as the business owner, and that is totally fine. It is all part of the process, child. You just it's all about what you do with it. Either you take it and you be sour about it, or you like, how do I maneuver through that the next time? Because people are
Right.
gonna come. They're gonna come, they know about you. It's just all in the way that you maneuver through that. And it's gonna take time. Cause like I
Yeah.
said, since 2019 and I'm still, it's not always a comfortable thing for me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely get that. I mean, for me personally with that, it's just kinda like I've come to a point where it's like, "Alright."
When it's when it's like the third or like the fourth one, you're just like, listen,
Yeah, because
you
it's
know?
and the thing is the crazy thing, and I on the solo episodes where I'm just talking about events and stuff and share my
Mhm,
ideas, I
mhm,
say all the
mhm.
time, like, "These prices are posted. They're posted somewhere. If it's not posted with my if you can't find it with my company, it's posted with someone else's company.
Someone else,
You can
yeah,
see what the look like, you know?
yes.
You can now with AI, you could type in, "Hey, I
Yeah,
live in New York. Out balloons, how much do they cost?"
yeah,
About.
yep, yep,
AI will give you a number. So so sometimes it's just like the miseducation of how
mhm,
events actually work that I
yeah,
see a lot of people, have trouble with. But in terms of, like, for me business-wise, I just if it doesn't fit, I just be like, "Alright, next person." I'll follow up with you maybe a week later once,
yeah,
but they're not gonna be on my "let me follow up" every time
right,
kinda thing,
right,
you
right.
know?
Because you just wanna make
Uh,
sure you do your part. I didn't leave you hanging.
exactly, exactly,
It's fine if you leave me hanging, but I didn't
exactly,
I didn't leave you hanging,
right
like,
right there, right, exactly. What's your favorite part of the design process? Is it the creative planning, the sourcing, or the actual day of execution?
uh, I know it probably sounds crazy, but my favorite part is actually when we come back to do the breakdown. But, probably before that is when the setup is when the setup's complete. Like, this is, like, right before the client is walking in, and, all of your materials are back in the van or, out of the way, and you actually get to step back and look at what was a conversation and, a mock up on a computer, and now you're standing in front of, like, a life-size activation or, something that you executed 100%, and
Yeah,
there's no feeling like that. I can't even describe it. I can't put words to it. It's just a feeling that I get, and I'm very proud of myself. Sometimes I can't believe that like I was a part of that, depending on what the journey was from. planning the
Yeah, yep,
execution. You might
yep,
be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that we did this," because it could have been anything from time constraints to even working with somebody who likes to micromanage you, because that's a huge part of all this too, especially when the client has never met you before, being micromanaged. Boy, when you come back
correct.
and that setup is still up, nothing fell, and you can just go in there and take that down, for me, that's the moment where I feel like I can finally exhale. That's my
Yeah,
that's my
yeah.
favorite part, because you know that everything went well, and, it's just up from here.
It's not. It's funny, like, people ask me what's my favorite part of the event, and I say when the event's over, for the same
Yes!
reason. Yeah. Like, as a planner, it's like I did my job, like, the cake was
Yes,
cut
because
on
for
time,
us, that's when it's complete.
the yeah, the music was done, everyone had a great time. Then I get the, "Oh my god, you planned it, it was so great," you know?
Yes. Yeah,
And then it's like, "Whew,
exact
done."
see? Yes, yes, it's when it's over, exactly.
Feel doing that.
Feel you.
Alright, yes. Okay, so, decor can make or break an event. What are some elements that people, overlook or the client overlooks, when it comes to the design and decor?
So it's definitely trying to think about that from both perspectives, personally and from the client's perspective. Because of course,
Mhm.
the design inspiration is actually what I mean, of course, us, we understand that there's, gonna be a bit of a one-off, but the client is expecting to walk into that inspiration, picture. So I just think some things that get overlooked sometimes in the design process could be something as simple as lighting, like,
Yeah,
that can affect, like, where something is placed, like, maybe putting it in an area that's poorly lit or not bringing the proper lighting to showcase that correctly.
yeah,
It could be about, like, the where we're positioning things, and, like, are we placing the backdrop in an area where it won't be as focal, or are the guest tables blocking that? And thinking about, what it's
mhm,
going to look like when people are actually in the room versus it just being empty with decor in it. What is that gonna look like if you want to start taking pictures and people are dancing? So I just think those small details are probably things that get overlooked, not by only the client, but sometimes by a designer, especially if you haven't seen the space in person. And
right.
I guess just trying to make sure, like, you anticipate those small things that could possibly happen. I know I always end up bringing at least 10 things with me, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna need that. I might put that in. I could get that off." But,
Yeah.
it's at least you have it just in case something pops. So, yeah, I just think those are, like, the things. Well, like, lighting, small details, negative space, maybe sometimes having too much decor in an area, sometimes all you need is light. You don't need every aspect. I think just those things.
No, yeah, I definitely, get that because sometimes I go on, social media, you look at people's work and what they do, right? And, my pet peeve, I hate to see a venue where it's like, I take a picture here right in front, and it's like, boom, decor, and then I turn around or I look around, and it's just a white room everywhere else. Yeah. When I tell you I cannot stand that, and then these people spent bread
Yeah.
to get one
One
thing.
one focal point. Yep.
It drives me crazy because imagine you as a guest walking in, and there's all this color in one corner, and then everything else is a white space, it's just white.
Right. And child,
You better hope the DJ
you don't want me
or
coming in at the
something.
gas and looking at the space, especially if you didn't hire me to do it. 'Cause it's gonna be a different thing, okay?
Exactly. Exactly,
It's gonna
exactly,
be a different perspective. But I mean, sure, if they did a good job, I'm gonna ask for their information so we can connect and like work together later.
exactly,
But yeah,
exactly. Uh,
yeah, absolutely. No, I
yeah, no, that's
get it. I get it. And
uh,
and I know that that plays a part into also what people or what's always at the forefront of people's minds when they work with professionals in this field is, am I getting my money's worth? So it's just like, was that worth what I paid, or was that worth, what they charged me? But absolutely, because that's everybody's thinking about that. Like, how much was this? How much did you spend? How much
exact
did we charge you? Yes.
exactly. Um, so you work with everything from birthdays to baby showers to, like, corporate events, just everything, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What, do you change your design approach based on the type of event it is? Like, I know certain things like a baby shower, you may wanna have, like, the chair and, like, a moment and things like that, but in terms of dealing it's really dealing with corporate events and social events.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you change your, thought process with it or your design process?
The design process is, stays true to the same foundation always. But of course, like
Mhm.
the intention will probably just be a little different or shift a bit depending on what that, event is. I mean, like you said, like a personal celebration is definitely more about emotions and personality. Whereas, branding and corporate events is more about being impactful and also telling a story. So pretty much at the end
Yeah.
of the day, like it's about what guests feel when they walk in, pretty much. So the like I said,
Okay.
the foundation is always gonna be the same, but the intention will just shift a little bit because we definitely like to I see GG Events as like a bespoke design company, if you will. We like to tailor each event to that particular client. So you don't want you to ever feel like you've seen this before, or, and we want you to feel like your event is just as unique and special as it is to you. It is exactly the same way to us.
Right. So, I mean, with that being said, that's a perfect segue because I want to talk about the evolution of design and decor, and based on
Mm.
what's in, what's on, what is happening,
Mhm.
like the what is the word? The trends, right?
Yes.
So, how in balloons in particular, right? Balloons are still a bigger part of about what
Yeah.
you do. But how has the design evolved to an art form, and how do you keep it from feeling overdone? Like, "I've seen this already."
Mhm. So I would definitely like to say that balloon design has evolved quite a bit over time. Like balloons used to be, it was cool to receive like a balloon bouquet with like a Mylar balloon in it, and not just like a regular latex. These things are not just like we're having a Santa will be here today, or this is where the party is at. Balloons have turned into like a full on art installation. Like they're creating structures and people and all types of things are being created using balloons. So
Mhm.
it's really like it's about mixing textures and movement within the space. Like the balloons can create your either be your entire installation, or it can help bring the installation together. I mean, you can even create your own colors now with balloons by a process called double stuffing. So if you can't find the shade
Yeah.
that you're looking for, if you want to make something unique to that particular design, you have the ability to do that too. And it's way past balloon arches and balloon columns and stuff like that now. Your entire backdrop could be a whole balloon wall and different shapes, and
Yeah.
it's just become just like a massive installation now, and just the concept of them not being able to just be the core point, or that you can't just have balloons by itself. That's definitely like passing. You can do so much
Yeah.
and use for so many different reasons to create things. It's not just about parades. Like we're creating that excitement and those big wow pieces in exterior spaces as well.
Yeah. Now, what's the coolest install you've ever done in terms of balloons?
The coolest install that I
Like,
have ever done, I want to say, was when I went to the balloon ball convention in 2024 that took place in New Jersey. It was hosted by seven of like the top decorators, balloon artists between New York and New Jersey. And we worked on a Super Mario Brothers themed installation. The place, it was pretty
nice.
much like a warehouse space. It was completely empty, and we built everything from pretty much like if you've ever played Super Mario Brothers, when the game like opens up and you see all the characters and different places that to be, pretty much told that story from the beginning to the very end. Like when you walked in, you saw like the brick walls and the mushrooms and the little cars and stuff like that, and the trees and it was absolutely insane. Like we made the puffer fish out of balloons. That design started off by putting
Wow.
a coffee bean inside of the balloon and tying it off with a rubber band. We made Venus flytraps with the balloons. We made the little mushroom people with the balloons. Trees, everything was balloons. Even the ice world that they had, we created that in a room too, all out of balloons. It was absolutely amazing. It was definitely about 200 of us. When I tell you that it was
Mhm.
literally finished, like, it was finished, like, maybe 5 minutes before it was supposed to be finished. Like, everybody was locked in, like, the designers, the students, all of us, and at the end, everybody went home, put on our ball gowns, and when we came back and saw that space because this was the first time that we got to see the space in as a whole also, because while you were working there,
Yeah.
you were working in your area, and you did walk past the other areas, but it wasn't complete yet, stuff was still all over the place.
Yeah, it
Once everything was out and all of that came together, I'm telling you, all of us, even the
amazing.
instructors who designed that could not believe
Yeah.
that that was something that we put together in 3 days because the space was empty when we first got there. It was empty. After that, we were standing in Super Mario World.
Yeah.
It was not only, like a very proud moment, but so nostalgic because I remember spending hours upon hours in my room as a child playing that game. So it was cool in so
Yeah.
many ways, man. I mean, to feel like I was standing in that, but also had a part in creating that. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it right now. It was absolutely amazing. Like the ticket to for that convention, well worth the experience. Well worth it. And it was over $1,000 per student, but it was
Wow.
worth it. It was well worth it.
Well worth
I
it.
haven't had that feeling of accomplishment in a very long time, in a very long time. And it was supposed to be
Yeah.
it definitely was a learning experience, but it gave me way more than that.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the breakdown like? Did you guys have to pop everything?
We did not.
Yeah.
We did not.
I would cry. I would
That would have hurt.
tear.
You know how much whatever I could take home, I did. I took Venus flytraps home. I took little mushroom men home. Whatever I could, I took it with me. It was like there was an 8 foot tall Mario, Super Mario. I'm gonna send you pictures when we're done. I'm gonna send you pictures from it, but we didn't have to break it down, thank God.
Okay. All right. Because that would have hurt my heart.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, yes.
it would have hurt my heart. So what is something that clients always underestimate about event design?
Um, the entire process. You know, Listen, because
You know.
we've been there before too. We've been there before too. You see something, you're like, "Oh my goodness, that is awesome. I want that." But what does that, what does achieving that entail? And my favorite thing that I love to bring up was the year that Khloe Kardashian threw that baby shower for her best friend Malia. And this is the one
Yes.
where we first got to see this was the neutral colored baby shower where we got to see the hallway with all the balloon arches, and they had the massive, hedge animals and the big balloon wall
Yeah.
in the background. What that was,
Everybody did.
yes, everybody wanted that. Now, of course, what people are not thinking about is this was a party that was hosted by the Kardashians. That alone says that not only was that a lot of work because you're not thinking about that either. That was expensive. That was expensive. That was the Kardashians. That was a pretty coin that was spent on that, okay? So
Yeah.
what I feel like, people see what their heart desires, but you never think about what it takes to get from that to actually executing it. Like, what does that investment look
Mhm.
like? How much time is that going to take? Maybe the venue that you are gonna have your event at only allows 2 hours to set up. Maybe this is gonna require more than 2 hours to be set up. So it's
Really.
just, there's I wanna call it, like, we call it the BTS, like the behind the scenes. It's the behind the scenes things. Like, I don't wanna call it the non-pretty stuff because for us it's essential. But, nobody thinks about those things, like having to go to Michael's on 23rd Street
Mhm.
and also on Atlantic Avenue because these are the only 2 locations that may have the last of the materials that you need. So there's a lot of footwork,
Mhm.
there's a lot of grinding and stuff that has to happen. There's even hours that's spent on the mock-up just creating what we want this to look like first before we even get
Yep.
into sourcing. Like mock-ups take like hours to create, especially dependent on the event. So the
Yeah.
having to visualize it first to, like, this is the idea. There's a lot of time that goes into that too. And that's definitely overlooked because I could have somebody reach out to me about a wedding that's probably
Yeah.
happening in a month. And she wants 4 options, and she wants it by tomorrow. I have to research all of that first, you know? I don't have these prices that other vendors are charging programmed in my mind. I gotta find that out too. I have to figure out what fits in the budget that you gave me first before I can even show you anything, you know? So, yes, it's a lot of research
Yeah.
and it's a lot of thinking for you and there's a lot of thinking for everybody but the designer. You have to think for everyone else and you have to think for the client because there's things that we're aware of
Well,
they're not even going to think about, Like I had somebody reach out to me and they really wanted a backdrop for a particular area and because of the budget constraints, like it wasn't something that was going to be able to be provided. She took it upon herself to order those
yeah.
shimmer tassels that go in the doorway and was
Shimmer,
unaware
yeah.
and was unaware that it didn't come with the frame.
So she just had tassels.
Yeah, the
That's
shimmer tassels, the one that come wrapped around that white cardboard, the one that when it flips out, you better catch it correctly because if it tangles, you're gonna start breaking pieces. That one. He thought that it came with a frame, like, she didn't realize that it needed to have something that you gotta put that on something, you know?
yep.
I
Yep.
didn't say
Wait, so side note, what about the clients? Do you ever get clients hit you up and they're like, "I already got the materials. I just need someone to set it up."
all the time. And I will say, when I first started doing this, absolutely. Because to me, those weren't necessarily like those projects that was all about profit. To me, that was a way
Yeah.
for me to like brushing up on my skills in a particular area, doing something within a certain amount of time and working with different materials. The only downside to that is that I can't guarantee you what the outcome is going to be because I may not have worked with this stuff before, and you may not have purchased enough for me to be able to create what it is that you hired me for. And then also just,
Correct.
with working with different materials and certain things like real latex and sometimes you can have a little allergic reaction to those things too. It's happened to me. Like I've used
Mm,
balloons that somebody purchased, I don't know from where, but at the end of it, I've got blisters and stuff all over my hands. So I feel like those types of
right.
projects are really good when you're first starting out, if it's safe, if you're not going to catch a rash or anything. But
Oh,
further on,
correct.
absolutely not. Like, I understand what my skill set is, and I understand the importance and the value that I bring to, these type of events. So that's the type
Mhm.
of thing that, you don't need to hire a professional to do that stuff. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's that's you guys trying to be cost effective. So that's something that you can take care of, or maybe it's something that we're doing for a friend type of situation. You don't need to hire a a professional for that. So by all means, if you're starting out, do it for the experience. But me personally at this point, I would not and I probably would advise people against doing that because I may have had the
Well,
material ready, like and
it,
it may have been cheaper for you to do it with me that way, but at least this way, what it is that you're looking for, you know that I'm gonna
yeah,
be
it
able
gets
to
done.
provide it for you.
It gets done. And then also too, like I get clients that want me to do that. Oh, I just have everything and we already set up everything and da 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 da. And it comes to a point where it's kind of like now I'm putting my name on something that I have no
Yes,
control over.
yes, yes,
You know?
yes.
And it comes out hot mess because you say you got it, you paying for labor, and then you give me incomplete work, something breaks, I'm not gonna fix it because that's not
Right,
what you know what I mean? That's not what I got hired for. I didn't get hired to create this thing.
right.
Um, it's just it's see, I think it comes with more risk than anything because like all the times that we work together,
Mhm.
right? If the balloons pop, you got some more balloons to blow it up again.
Correct.
But if you're buying just enough to cut costs, if they pop and they will pop,
Yes,
it's gonna start looking a little stringy,
now we talking about a design change
you know?
because yeah. Yep,
Right.
because now you have to hide
Yeah,
that and
exactly.
right, it's all problems are always going to arise, but what makes it successful of it is when the client doesn't know about
It that part. That
it.
part.
So
That's
I
what I
don't
always
wanna call
say.
I don't wanna call you and tell you that there's a problem. If I'm telling you that there's an issue, it's because I've exhausted every option and
The option.
yes.
Right.
If you don't have to know
Right.
about it as a paying client,
Yeah,
it's the same.
exactly. I always tell my clients, like, listen, if I come to you and tell you there's a problem, the solution, I'll come up with a solution too. So you never have
Absolutely.
to feel like you in a moment.
Yeah,
But it may not happen right then and there how you want it to happen. It may not happen at all for your event, but you
yep, it's true.
gotta get through the moment.
Push through and trust the
Yeah.
process like they say, because
Trust them.
it's gonna come
Trust in the
together.
process.
It's gonna come together. That just happened to me. Somebody asked me
What
to pour
happened?
a balloon tunnel, and I had originally set it up to be inside of the room. 2 weeks before the event, they decided they wanted outside of and exactly. And because I had built this space, I was like, "Okay, I can definitely do that." But what wasn't considered is that this tunnel is going to be and this being out here is not gonna work if you're not gonna shut down down. You know,
Right.
because it's situated in front of an elevator at the street. So if you come out any other elevator other than the lift, How do you get so now I built it for outside, we had to bring it inside. Inside is taller than outside. We got it we listen, I wanna say
You got
5
it
minutes
in.
before these kids came upstairs, that shit excuse my language, it was up. The tunnel was up, it was inside, it was ready to go. The lady sent me all these videos about how the tunnel that I made was everything, they were so happy. When I thought about that afterwards, I was like, "That was absolutely insane." What I should have said was, is the tunnel can't go up because it can't live in the area that you originally asked it to live in. Because who allocated for all
Yeah.
of this extra time now with a design change and changing the location of a structure? But we did it, we got it together, and I saw these people the next day, and they were like, "We don't know how you
They
did
were
but you did that, oh my god." And I'm, like, hired for all of for their events for the remainder of the year.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, and they
Listen,
they
another problem
watched all of
with
that
a
go down too. They
like,
watched all of that go they watched us put it in a space, make it fit, and then have to bring it out because it was yeah, it was intense.
yeah,
But we got through it.
listen, we love an issue that, comes with some money back then.
Was happy to pop that. So I
Okay.
was happy to break that structure down.
You gotta go.
Exactly. Yes.
My goodness. Alright, so what's some advice that you would give somebody who wants to get into, event design and decor?
Wow. And my first thought was to be funny and be like, "Run!"
And you know what's funny? I asked the question, I was like, "Don't tell them not to do it."
Listen, it's gonna feel like that though. There's gonna be some
Oh,
days
no.
when it's gonna feel like that, when you're gonna feel like, "What was I thinking? Like, am I crazy? Why would I do something like this? Why would I pick something like this that's so unstructured and, so unconventional?" But you know what? That's, like, some of the best parts of it. Some of the best parts of it. Um There's so many moments and times where you have an idea or you have a feeling or, like your intuition is telling you something and you might be afraid or you feel like it's not the right time and just do it. Just do it. Just do it. I think the best feeling is to be able to learn from a failure versus
Mhm.
wondering if you were going to fail or if something was going to work out. Um,
Yeah,
Like I said earlier, like, this job and, like, the creative part of it is so personal. It's so personal,
yeah,
and I think it's very few people that get to find themselves in the position where they're actually doing something that they love to do. So
yeah,
if it's something outside of, creative design or something like that, still, if it's something that you love to do and you want to do it. Find people that are doing what you want to do and where you see yourself and put yourself in front of that person. Introduce yourself to those people. Network, like make
mhm,
those connections because you never know who or what you're going to need down the line and you never know if that person will be your client or vice versa. You never know. So I say, take it with both feet, jump right on in there and get started. I think for
yeah,
me, it was a little bit easier because I started with there was like a starting point for me. It was balloons. And
yeah,
less than a year later, like that turned into balloons and backdrops. And now, like 5 years later, we're doing full on decor services, providing everything
yeah,
for the entire event. So,
yeah,
it's a journey and it's not always easy, but nothing in life that is worth anything is easy to
It's
attain. So, if it's something that you want to do, by all means, do it. It's gonna be scary, but don't be afraid because what you should do is use that to push you to, like go out to those networking events or go get you a pack of balloons from Amazon or Dollar Tree and, make a little structure in the house and brushing up on your skills. When 2020 happened, I was a year in, and then all of a sudden
yeah,
everything stopped for everybody else,
yeah,
but not for us. People were figuring out
right,
where they were gonna have their event. We set up an
right.
entire wedding reception in Pelham Bay Park with a gazebo and everything, okay? Tables, chairs, tablecloths, dance floor, all of that. People were gonna figure where they were going to have their events. I
Yeah.
think that this is, like,
Yeah.
one of those things that's, like, never gonna go away. People are always gonna have something to celebrate about. So,
Listen,
I feel like there's gonna
I
always
think ever
be
since COVID
that.
exactly. I think ever since COVID, I feel like, um, people have, like, been punching, like, the pavement. It's like, "We gotta celebrate. We gotta do that. We
Yeah,
gotta do something.
or
We gotta do"
the you only live once type of situation, so yes, yeah.
even to, like, the point of you meeting up with your friends, it's no longer like, "Oh, come over my house. We'll just open a bottle of wine, or we just
No,
grab some food and chill out." We gotta go to a restaurant.
right, we
We
going to
gotta make a moment of
we're taking pictures not only in the floral staircase, but we gotta go in front of the floral letters. It's an experience. It's an experience.
yeah, that's what people want, experience of it all. So I 100% agree with you. Alright, so what are some design trends that you see are popular or gonna be popular for 26?
Oh, I'm loving how, that pretty much like these events are not just about the decor anymore, but how they're
Mhm.
becoming like really like full on experiences. So I'm loving how there's like these stations created for or activations if you will created for certain things. So there was an event that you and I did where we created a station where people were able to decorate. It was for a baby shower. People were able to personalize little onesies for the mom and leave it
Yeah,
there. Or
yeah,
I'm loving how
yeah,
you can go into the event now and it's not just this little knickknack that you're taking home. You may be able to go over to a DIY floral station and make your own bouquet of flowers, and you get to take that home. So I just love how personalized these experiences are becoming for not only the host, but also for the guests.
mm,
I think that's something that's really cool and definitely see people, investing more into those things where people can
yeah,
not only see something beautiful, but be able to experience it as well. Um,
yeah,
kind of, I don't wanna call it, like, interactive. It definitely will get your guests up out of their seats and, being, like, more interactive and not I don't wanna
yeah,
waste, but, um, not necessarily investing into, like, standalone decor because that, it's may not just be as fun, but, yes, I'm loving these activations where people get to touch and experience.
yeah, and then it helps invoke, emotion, and,
Yes, yes.
like,
Memories,
a
all of
lot
that,
of
absolutely.
exactly.
Mhm.
Um, alright, so always gotta lead with intention, right? So what is your dream event that you would love to design that you have not designed yet, right?
Mhm.
And lead it with intentions that it happens for you.
My dream event, I think would be the Super Bowl. When I
I
say
love it.
listen, Kendrick Lamar's Kendrick Lamar's performance last year, I don't remember it, like, I remember the installation, okay?
Yeah.
So this year, when I found out that that the grass was all people. I mean, just talking about it
Yep.
right now is giving me goosebumps. That like, who thought about that? Because, those things gotta be set up in 7 minutes. I mean,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
the creativity behind it and the freaking chef's kiss on the execution. I mean, these are
Yeah.
large scale installations, and they're not only placed in a few minutes, but somebody's actually performing on this, and it's on a sensitive, base, like floor, like this grass, because the players gotta come back out here and play on it. It's literally like these
Yep.
people are magicians. It's like they're magicians. It reminds me of, that show Out of This World, the little girl Evie, when she used to do this and freeze time. I feel like I could become Evie, if I'm a part of that team that designs for the Super Bowl. I mean, just it's magic. It's magic. It's magic.
Yeah.
It's just so much, like, so much beauty in that, and then it's done
That
like
happened.
this. I mean, just that's my dream project, the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Those installations are magnificent, and the amount of time that it's set up so that it can be on TV for them couple of minutes, just
Yep.
amazing. That's a real accomplishment right there. Like, after that, I looked up the designer, found his Instagram page. I was asked ChatGPT what's the best way for me to introduce myself to him. I was so
Well, what's his
so
last name?
motivated.
Let's try.
I was so
What's his
motivated. But yeah, the Super Bowl is my dream event that I would love to design.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I can see you doing it.
Yeah.
I can see you at that table. This is what we're gonna do. What you need. All right, I got it. Listen, I can see you doing that. Okay, so rapid fire is like
All
this or
right.
that. Bold colors or neutral colors?
Neutrals with moments of bold.
You can't pick both.
Okay, so bold colors. Bold colors.
Okay. Balloons or florals?
Balloons.
Okay. Intimate gatherings or grand affairs?
Intimate gatherings.
Okay. Plan to perfection or room for improvise?
Room to improvise. Stay teachable.
Yes. And lastly, as we wrap up here, tell everybody where they can find you, how they can book a consultation, plug in all your stuff.
Alrighty. Well, you can find our work on Instagram at GGEventsNYC. And you can also find all of our booking information, website information, all of that there in the profile. You can also check us out at GGEventsNYC.net. And I'm not going to give my phone number out or anything like that, but yeah,
It's creeps out here.
I'm
Thank
not opposed to phone calls. But yes, you can find us on
thank you.
Instagram and you can find us online. And we
Okay,
do
perfect.
travel. We
Thank
do
you.
travel.
Oh, great to know. Okay, good. So like that cost and everything would be built out depending on where it is.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for being a part of the 10-minute planner.
Thank
It was so
you.
great having you.
It was so great being here. This
Uh,
was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.